So if you're following anything that's going on in America right now, you're either watching a Bernie Sanders running for president or you're watching Donald Trump, okay? And generally, the Bernie Sanders following can't stand this guy, and the Trump following doesn't like this guy. However, these guys have a lot more in common than they think they do. But before I get into this, let me tell you how completely opposite this is if you're watching this and you're not from America, right? This is kind of like people who love cats versus dogs, right? People, dog lovers maybe not liking cats. Yankees fans against Red Sox, pure contradiction. Droid users versus iPhone, obviously we know the greatest phone. And then you have Bernie versus Trump. But these two have a lot more in common than you think they do. And let me tell you exactly what it is. You see, there's a lot of entrepreneurs can learn from Bernie and a lot of entrepreneurs can learn from Trump. Let me tell you what it is. You see, the most important person in an entrepreneur's life, when you're building your business, you are seeking a vote. Your voter is the customer. Your voter is the customer. The way they vote is by purchasing your product. When they buy your product and they exchange money with you, that is a vote. You got to vote for them, right? Now, the reason why I like what's happening with these two guys is this. Neither one of these guys have gone to the establishment, which is the establishment on this side. And in the world of politics, the establishment are the people who decide who becomes the nominee. The establishment is the one that says, here's Hillary Clinton, she should be the nominee. Here's Ted Cruz, Jeb Bush, he should be the nominee, not Trump, not Bernie Sanders. Now, they go after somebody else because they're going after the voter. They don't listen to the establishment, they're listening to the voter. And the voter is responding to them. Both of them have gotten millions of votes. I want to say Hillary Clinton has gotten roughly 1.3 million donors. I think Bernie Sanders has 8 million donors that have bought something on his website or donated to his campaign. But Hillary has a lot more money because she has the establishment. He does not. Trump doesn't have the establishment. He got voters that said, we want you, and he just won the nominee. They are the disruptors. Bernie and Trump are the disruptors. Now, Bernie on one hand is a democratic socialist, is what he's campaigning with. Right? He wants to give a lot of free programs and take care of people in a way that he believes is best. And Trump is a Republican capitalist. He believes in certain principles that are complete opposite than these guys. But what they're doing, their fundamental approach to getting the vote is very similar. They're both disrupting. Now keep this in mind. In an industry as an entrepreneur, a Jeff Bezos is a disruptor. A Elon Musk is a disruptor. Let me explain why. Elon Musk goes in the most old business that no one's been touching or has been able to compete for decades. You don't hear a lot of new car companies coming out. You don't. You saw Fisker come out, it didn't work out. You saw all these other companies come out, it didn't work out. Then Tesla comes out. Then he places an order of 300,000 cars. He places Tesla. And you see the prices of gas going down. That's disrupting. Why do the establishment not like Elon Musk? Because there's a lot of people that make money when there's oil involved. Man, there is so much politics in oil. I'm in Texas. Politics involved in oil. Middle East, OPEC, voters, control. There's so much. We have to make sure the world counts on oil. And Elon Musk says, we don't need gas stations. I'm going to put a charger all over America, and it's going to be free charge. Guess what? You don't need to pay for it. You just go on free charge. You're kidding me. No, I'm serious. You're going to be able to, I'm going to put it everywhere on me. Don't worry about it. Free charge. Disrupt. Jeff Bezos says, I know we've been reading books for all this time. Let me grab a book. Here's what we've been doing. Okay. We have been reading books all this time, all these years. This is how books have been. They've been print. This is trees, just so you know this. Jeff Bezos says, we don't need to waste trees anymore. Jeff Bezos saves trees. That's insane. He says, we're going to read the books on e-books. We don't need Borders. Borders goes out of business. Barnes & Noble shutting down all over the place. Traditional bookstores, trees being saved, more oxygen, better weather. And at the same time, he says, books are going to be gone. Bezos, disruptor. Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, everybody ought to have a computer. No. The first computer, Philadelphia. You know, one night when you turn on the computer, the city's electricity shut down because it required so much power. No, everyone needs to have a computer. We can't do that. We cannot have people have that much control. Let everybody have a computer. Everybody needs to have a cell phone, smartphones, everybody. It shouldn't just be the rich people, everybody. Disruptors, right? I mean, I can go on and on and on with disruptors. There's many of them here. Trump and Elon Musk and Bernie Sanders are disrupting the establishment. The reason why the establishment doesn't like disruptors is because money goes through a lot of people. I'm in the financial industry. And in my industry, there are certain things in the insurance world that a lot of the money is being shared. Way too many people that get a piece of the money before a policy is being approved. We're working on disrupting that entire industry in a way that's never been done before. We're disrupting the industry. A lot of people don't like that. You know, we're shaking things up a little bit and they're getting upset about it. Hey, who is this Patrick Bet-David guy thinking he can disrupt a boring life insurance industry that's been around for thousands of years? Who is this Middle Eastern guy from Iran who's, running a business thinking he's going to disrupt this? We don't like this guy, but we're growing and we're going to disrupt this industry because it needs to be. This needs to be disrupted, okay? The corporate establishment needs to be disrupted. They can't control a Bernie. He doesn't want their money. They can't control a Trump. He doesn't want their money. Now they have to listen. If they don't listen, he's the nominee. Okay. Now I don't know if Bernie's going to be the nominee or not. He's been winning most of the states recently, but he doesn't get the super delegates. That's a whole different conversation. So now let's get to this. So disrupting. What is disrupting? What is disrupting? First of all, let me bring it to the lowest level so you may be understanding what this means. If you are, and I know this is a stereotype, but if you're raised in a Middle Eastern family, or let's just say an Asian family, hypothetically, there's stereotypes. I heard it all the time growing up. You either need to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a doctor, lawyer, engineer. If you're not one of those three things, you're not good. If you don't go to school, you're not good. If you don't have a 4-year degree from a UCLA or a UC Irvine or UC or USC, you're not good. You went to Cal State? Oh, you didn't go to... There is this whole thing. Then all of a sudden, somebody in a family says, I'm going to disrupt. What do you mean you're going to disrupt? I don't want to do the school thing. I'm not going to college. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. To your family, you're a disruptor. You disrupted that family and you became an entrepreneur. That is a level of disruption. Why don't most people want to be disruptors? Well, because in order to be validated as a disruptor, you got to go through 3 phases. And that phase requires you to go through heat. Most people don't like the heat, and most people cannot handle the heat. Entrepreneurs, there's a lot of different levels. We can call ourselves entrepreneurs, and there's the disruptors. History books writes about disruptors. People write about disruptors. People study disruptors. People want to be disruptors. People admire disruptors. People hate disruptors. People love disruptors. There's a certain level of admiration for disruptors. There's 3 phases you got to go through. Number 1 is ridiculed. Ridiculed. When Trump got up and says, I'm running for presidency, he's out of his mind. He's just doing it because he wants marketing, campaign dollars. He's out of it. There's no way in the world. Everybody ridicule, laugh, all these comic, all this stuff. Bernie Sanders, I'm running for presidency against Hillary Clinton. You're out of you don't stand a chance. He starts from 7%, 17%, 27, 37. Holy moly, 8 million, 9 million people donated to Bernie Sanders' campaign. Are you out of your mind? But he was ridiculed. You know what's phase number 2? Violently opposed. Violently opposed. What's violently opposed? Which is what took place. Violently opposed is people coming outside your campaign, people coming out doing things, doing things to your car, doing things to your name, negative, all this other stuff that happens. But then level 3, that very few disruptors. But if you're a disruptor, you experience this, it becomes self-evident. And the self-evident part is when everybody says, oh, we always knew he was going to do it. Everybody knew Trump was going to. I mean, come on, it's Donald Trump. Everybody knew Bernie Sanders. Everybody knew. Everybody knew Jeff Bezos. Everybody knew Elon Musk. It's Elon Musk. High IQ. His mom is a model. Everybody knew Elon Musk. Everybody knew Steve Jobs. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Not everybody knew. Most people never saw these two phases that they went through. Very few people witnessed these two phases. This is the heat. Can you handle the heat when you're disrupting an industry? Can you? When you do, as an entrepreneur, now whether you vote for this guy, or you vote for this guy, or you're living in Malaysia or Brazil or China or Russia or Germany, which 225 different countries people view these videos that we have, it doesn't matter whether you even know this guy, you know this guy. Their politics are complete opposite. I mean, when I tell you complete opposite, it's complete opposite. But they're both disrupting their establishment. And as an entrepreneur, sometimes you got to be brave enough to disrupt an industry. Because 5, 10, 20, 30 years later, many of the new things they'll use happen because somebody had the courage to disrupt that industry, just like these two guys had the courage to disrupt the establishment who thinks they control who the next president of the United States needs to be, and not the voter. Forget what the voter thinks. Forget what the customer says. Forget these guys. They don't know what they're talking about. No, no, no. We know who's the best president for you. Disruptors say no one knows better than the guys who vote. We need to think about what they're thinking about. If they tell us this is it, this is it. America's telling these guys, we kind of like you a little bit more and trust you a little bit more than the establishment. Slightly of a different message, but it is a message that has to do with entrepreneurs. If you got questions about it, comment on the bottom. If you have thoughts, comment on the bottom. If you haven't subscribed to this crazy channel that we talk about entrepreneurship, and every once in a while, I'm actually wearing a Donald Trump hat. Mario, we're really doing this, aren't we? I'm wearing a Bernie Sanders shirt. I mean, if my family's going to say, Pat, you're completely confused. And I hope the message wasn't confusing.
They're going to say you're fired.
They're going to say I'm fired, and what they're going to say. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you watch this video some other place on the website, not on YouTube, you can always go visit patrickbaydavid.com. Give me the ringtone. Boom. Excellent. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.